Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's live Monday music motivation. It looks like we're live and everything's running well, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. For this one, it's gonna be kind of a little bit deeper than normal, I think, because I'm tackling the topic of the greatest motivation and the greatest source of motivation and kind of the greatest motivator that there is. So I suppose that makes sense that we have to go a little deep into it and really find something meaningful behind that. This is kind of a little bit of a cliche in sort of like motivation and inspiration type stuff that I've seen in lots of different places. And the cliche idea is this kind of like find your why idea, and it's finding the reason, the purpose behind whatever it is you're doing. So for this Monday music motivation, I want you all to consider your why for why you're playing the clarinet. And on the surface level, this is like really simple, really straightforward, and doesn't feel too deep. But if you only go on the surface level, then it's also only kind of a surface level motivator. So with playing the clarinet, for example, you might say, when I say, why do you play the clarinet? You might come up with an answer that's like, oh, it's fun. I have fun playing the clarinet, which is great. That's a good answer. I'm glad that you have fun playing the clarinet. But that's not great motivation, right? When you're going to practice and you don't feel like getting the instrument out and you're like, okay, I'm going to remember my why, my purpose for doing this. Oh yeah, it's fun. That might work maybe like 30% of the time, but watching Netflix is also fun. Going outside and hanging out with friends or things like that, that's also fun. For me, playing video games, that's way more fun than playing clarinet. So there's all these other things that are more fun. So the more surface level your sort of why is, the more easy it is to find other things that fulfill that purpose more easily and more quickly and at a greater level as well. So what I want you to do is go deeper with why you play the clarinet, so you can find a purpose that really motivates you and gets you going to play 90% of the time when you don't feel like practicing. So the way to do this is very, very similar to the deliberate practice process, where when we go to reflect, when in our deliberate practice, we can find a surface level reflection that will give us a plan that may or may not work. It might work for now, but doesn't always work. And it's kind of a surface level solution to our surface level reflection. Just like in deliberate practice, we have to ask questions to get deeper and find kind of the root of the problem, to where the correct plan and solution that will work, again, 90% of the time, becomes self-evident. Same thing with finding our why and finding our purpose. So you start with that surface level of why do you play the clarinet? Because it's fun. Why is it fun? Why does that matter? Going deeper and deeper. I'll give you an example, not on actually playing clarinet, but on why I teach clarinet and teach music, just to sort of get you going and see how this should feel and how you should go with this. So on the surface level, why I teach music, because I know a lot about music and I enjoy passing that knowledge on to others and sharing that knowledge with others. Okay, why do I enjoy that? Because I feel like there's kind of some shortcuts that I can give people. Like, I see people struggling to learn music because they fall into the same classic quintessential traps that I fell into when I was learning music, and I can kind of give them information that's going to make that easier for them. So why is making clarinet playing easier for people important to me? Well, because I want them to keep doing music and keep playing the clarinet and not give up and get frustrated. Why is that important to me? Because I see so many people get sort of burnt out on music and give up on music and lose something that they once really, really loved, and that's really sad. And I've kind of been close to that at times where I feel like, oh, why am I even doing this? Like, why is this worth doing? And want to quit. And when people quit, they often regret it later and kind of lose that passion and that meaning. So now I'm starting to like feel some emotions around it. So I'm on the right track. But even after you start feeling emotions around it, keep going deeper. So why is it important for me for people to not lose their love of playing and music making? I think for that, because music is such a fulfilling passion and is such a valuable thing to be doing. If you're a young person learning music, it develops these skills and abilities. And for me, when I before I started playing the clarinet and before I started band in fifth grade, I got like a D in science or something, and I wasn't a good student at all. And it was mostly because I didn't understand school. I missed like 2 weeks of classes because I was sick, and my teacher never told me I had makeup work, so I ended up with like a D in science because I didn't understand that that's how school worked. I started band in fifth grade, and then by sixth grade, I got all straight A's. And I think it's purely because in band I was kind of learning how to practice, and probably my brain was developing a little bit too, but then I actually understood how to apply myself to school, how to practice, that there's assignments that I should be doing and things that I should be figuring out. And I think it was partially learning the discipline of learning an instrument gave me the discipline to learn how to do school and how to actually do homework as well. So that was really meaningful to me, and I think it's important for other people to kind of have that experience and stick with it and grow through it. And especially for young people, it kind of instills values of good discipline, good practice, good growth, those kinds of things. And then for older people also, it gives kind of a hobby, a passion, something to kind of keep us going and working on and working towards, so that we don't just retire and then sit around and wait to die, which is very morbid, I'm sorry. But we're going deep with sort of my purpose behind things. So that's why. And then I think we could probably go one layer deeper. Why is it important to me for those values to be created and shared and developed, and to give people the outlet of music? Because those things are what make the world more beautiful at the end of the day, right? It's the having young people who have discipline and understand practice and have something that they love and enjoy doing, and they feel like they can express themselves authentically through it, and they have the kind of critical thinking and self-awareness to be able to improve on their instrument, gives them the critical thinking and self-awareness to interact in society and the world in a way that makes the world more beautiful and more responsible and all those good things. And then if we want to go really, really deep with it, why is it important for young people, to me, for young people to have those attributes and things? And why is it important for me to teach that specifically, kind of bringing it more back to my teaching specifically, is that there's like so much craziness in the world, and there's always so much craziness in the world, and there's so much that's out of my control. But I feel like helping people get rid of their frustrations in playing so that they can continue playing and continue doing what they want and enjoying the process and learning those values that matter in music, it is something that I can control, and it is, even though I can't snap my fingers and make the world a beautiful place, I can instill these values and I can share these things and help people develop these things to make the world more beautiful. So there's a lot I can't control, but this is one little thing that I can kind of put out in the world and do my part to leave the world a better place. So that is something that when I have a lesson coming up after this, or when I'm going to go to the university and do my teaching later today, thinking about that I'm doing my part to leave the world more beautiful, that's motivation to get going and to show up as best as I can for my students and give them what they need to get what they need out of their lessons. So that's what we want. That's the kind of depth to your why that we're looking for. So if you're willing to kind of share that in the comments, I would love to hear your sort of deep purpose behind playing. And actually, even if you want to sort of show the whole logic chain, I would love to see that as well. It'd be super fascinating. That would also be great for kind of developing our deliberate practice muscles and our deeper reflection, to be able to start at whatever the surface level thing is, what first comes to your mind, and then ask the questions that get you deeper to something that kind of really gives that emotional response, so that it will get you motivated. And now you can see how, like, find your why is a nice motivational cliche, but when you really find it and you really go deep with it, it's an extremely powerful motivator to get you going and get you inspired to get out the instrument and keep practicing and keep improving. You know what else is a great inspiration to get out the instrument and keep practicing and improving is having a plan. So as always, go ahead and fill out your practice template. You can get it at quickstartclarinet.com/get started, this exact blank PDF, or just make it for yourself. Date for the week, reflection of how things are going for you, goal for what you want to accomplish this week, and then your plan for when you're going to practice and what you're going to practice, so that you can actually make it happen. Take that plan, put it in your calendar, put it in your planner, set reminders, do whatever you need to do to actually make it happen, so that you continue moving forward on your clarinet and music journey. And hopefully, after really reflecting deeply and having a deep understanding of your purpose for why you specifically play the clarinet, that'll be great motivation to actually fill this out and actually do it when those times come up. So I hope that you enjoyed this week's Live Monday Music Motivation. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And again, I would love to hear your purpose and your why if you're willing to share it. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week in the next Live Monday Music Motivation. Have a great week, everybody. Happy